The updated and expanded cruise port of Nassau, Bahamas is slated to open in just a couple weeks. I'll give you the full details about what's going on there. Plus, if you're an Alaska cruiser who's tired of stopping through Victoria on your way to the US, I've got a new option for you that's going to be very affordable and fun to try a brand new cruise port you probably haven't even heard of. Let's roll the intro. Hey, welcome to the Midships channel. I'm your Captain Corey, and thank you so much for stopping by the channel today. It's so nice to have you here once again. As we're getting started into the cruise news today, I'd like to point your attention to my Amazon Midships cruise store. And that's because I just dropped some brand new cruise t-shirt designs, custom made by me, all of the art and everything there. It's all custom. You can only find it in that store. I've got a new Alaska cruise design, plus another little cheekier one entitled Concordia Swim Team. Don't know if that's going to be popular or not. Might even get canceled for that one. Also, I spent a ton of time today reorganizing and adding in some missing cruise essentials that I love to take with me every time I cruise. So if you've looked through that store before, you might want to give it another peek here this evening. Everything in there has been updated. Check it out. There's a link in the description down below. Now let's talk about the $300 million upgrades that were made at the Nassau cruise port. If you've cruised over the last 3 or 4 years, it's likely you've heard the sound and the serenade, some would say, of jackhammers over in the Nassau cruise port as they added additional berths, new slots for Oasis class ships, plus an entirely new cruise terminal and welcome center to the port of Nassau. And thank goodness all of that noise is behind us. Well, mostly. We'll get into what's going on with phase 2 here in just a second. But following this 4-year project to upgrade and revitalize and expand the cruise port in Nassau, we finally know when it's going to be publicly open, and that date is May 26th. After a 4-year wait, we finally will be able to use this beautiful new facility. And if you haven't seen it, just take a look. With this project being completed, Nassau Cruise Port can now hold 6 cruise ships at the same time, and that includes 3 Icon or Oasis class ships, the largest ships in the world. Now, when I was there for the busiest day ever in Nassau, Bahamas, there were 2 Oasis class ships there already, plus 1 Excel class ship and 3 others. It was a really busy day, but people were able to get on and off, and the flow was doing good, and that was without this new cruise terminal being opened. Now, this project has been about 7 years in the making, all said and done. This has been a joint venture between the Bahamian government and what is called Global Ports Holding. We'll talk about them later here too, so just remember that. It's the world's largest cruise port operator. They have cruise ports in the Americas, Asia, and over in Europe. This new port is said to be a center of cultural expression and entertainment that celebrates the history and the heritage of Nassau, Bahamas, dating back 300 years. The port will proudly showcase the best of the Bahamas inside the 11-acre waterfront development. And perhaps most importantly, the ground transportation area will finally be organized and not just a potholed street full of chaos, people getting struck by cars. You know what I'm talking about. There's also an outdoor amphitheater with an entertainment venue, and to top it off, all kinds of new local shopping and vendors are opening up. Hopefully this will make your experience in Nassau unique and different once again. You finally may have a reason to get off of that cruise ship. Now, this is just phase 1, which is officially completed. With that being done, work will now commence on phase 2, which is supposed to be finished up sometime next year. Phase 2 includes opening a restaurant and another family-friendly area within this new 11-acre cruise complex. So maybe that jackhammering might actually continue after all, for a little bit at least. Now, to put this new port into perspective, it's basically going to double the amount of space that cruise passengers are going to have available to them to spread out when they get into the port of Nassau. And I think that's going to be a huge benefit that hasn't even been realized or talked about yet. If you've ever been into Nassau on a busy day, you know just how hard it is to fight your way in and out of venues for food, drinks, transportation. Hopefully this doubling of space will bring some breathing room And I really think that the experienced cruisers, those of you watching this channel, those kind of folks, the ones that are in the know, they're going to go enjoy this new cruise port area, and then they're going to walk right past it and go to the other old cruise port area to meet their needs while they're in the Bahamas. And that's because I think it's going to be a lot less busy part of town moving forward. That's just my opinion. Now let's keep the cruise news moving. We're heading over to the Carnival Corporation, the Princess Cruise brand specifically. They have a brand new class of ships on the horizon coming up next year. It's called the Sphere class, and we just got the name drop for the second Sphere class of ship. Her name is going to be the Star Princess, and those are some very good looking ships. With this being part of the Carnival Corporation umbrella, Princess was able to harness some of that LNG, liquefied natural gas technology, that Carnival pioneered aboard the Mardi Gras, and they were able to bring that into this new class of ships for Princess. So these are going to be greener, cleaner, quieter, smoother operating ships. All told, I've got really high hopes for the Sphere class coming out from Princess Cruise Line. I think it's just what the brand needed to modernize and move forward from some of those ugly duckling ships we've seen in the past. Hey, I promised you a cool Alaska cruise tip for those of you who are tired of getting off at that 4-hour port stop in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Well, there's a new port available for Carnival Miracle passengers, as well as cruisers on board the Ruby Princess. Just this season, the Carnival Miracle announced that they're going to be making calls at a different British Columbia port named Prince Rupert. And Prince Rupert is much further north than the port of Vancouver. In fact, it's only about 90 miles southeast of Ketchikan, Alaska. And as of right now, there's only 2 ships going there that I'm aware of, the Carnival Miracle and the Ruby Princess. And it's officially open for business now as the Miracle celebrated the start of this season with a plaque exchange ceremony when she stopped there on her first ever call on May the 2nd. And it's always cool to be able to talk about a new or up-and-coming cruise port. In fact, back in 2022, they signed a 10-year contract with the aforementioned Global Ports Holding. We talked about them down in Nassau, didn't we? And that group is hoping to expand the cruise business up in Alaska. All told, Prince Rupert expects to see about 80,000 passengers just this year alone. And this is going to be a huge boon for those locals up in Prince Rupert, Canada, as they're going to see all kinds of tourism dollars raining down on their beautiful Canadian heads. And the major attraction there, it's what's called British Columbia's Great Bear Rainforest. It's the world's largest coastal rainforest that's temperate. It spans about 25,000 square miles, a huge destination if you're a nature lover or the kind of person who just likes to get outdoors and enjoy some amazing scenery up in that Pacific Northwesty kind of region. Cruise passengers can also enjoy a trolley tour of the local town that showcases indigenous culture that's local to the area. And what I think is one cool feature about the port, it can only accommodate one large cruise ship at a time. And the cool thing about this is you're actually going to be able to get more time inland. There's going to be less people. The big difference with this port to Victoria is you're going to be there for about twice as long. Oftentimes you'd stop in Victoria for about 4 hours, whereas ships stopping in Prince Rupert, they're typically going to be there from like 9 to 5. So you get a full day in port. So there you go. We've got a brand new cruise port to look forward to up in Canada. I personally can't wait to get up there, spend some time in this new port. It's actually probably going to dictate which cruises I decide to book going forward this year into Alaska. Let me know if this is going to be a deciding factor for you booking your next Alaska cruise. If you made it this far into today's episode, please make sure you get subscribed to the channel with the bell notification turned on. Hit the thumbs up if you love cruising as much as I do. As always, thank you so much for stopping by the channel today. And until tomorrow, we'll see ya on the Midships. I've been testing some new video formats called the Midships Minutes, the Midships Morning Minutes. I've got a lot of feedback. Hey, this is kind of late, blah, blah, blah. So we're just going to go back to the original Midships format. For now, I'm sort of testing the waters. The algorithm is, I don't know, it doesn't like me right now. So if you could do me a big favor, interact with this video in some type of way, whether it's a like or a quick comment. Why don't you send me your most popular emoji down in the comments? As a matter of fact, I'll try to reply to all of them. Thanks so much for stopping by. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great weekend.